All right, guys, in this video, we are going to remove some frame rivets off of a Dodge truck frame. This process is basically the same for any automotive frame rivet. So let's just get after it here, and I'll show you a couple different ways. There's lots of different ways to do it, a couple different ways that I've done it in the past or do it. And yeah, we'll get out. There is lots of different ways to do it. The easiest way to do it is the most noisy. But if you don't have a really good air hammer, you can't do it this way. But let me grab my air hammer. I'll be right back. Right, guys, so if you have it doesn't have to be a snap-on one, but a good air hammer, you will need a good air hammer for this though. These are not that hard to get off. If you have something like this, if you do not, then I'll show you a couple different ways to do it. But I'll show you with this one just to start with here. Don't shoot the chisel anywhere. Make sure you have your chisel locked into the chuck properly so it doesn't fly off. Safety first here. You need to get just below the rivet so you can knock it off. But the head comes right off. Relatively easy to do. And then if you have the air hammer, you're gonna probably have one of these. It's just a punch. And you can just set it on top because they are riveted, so they're tight. They're right on top. And the rivet comes out. Now I realize not all you guys are gonna have a $500 air hammer to do this. Now, if you don't have, another way to do it is with a hand grinder. So I'll do one with a hand grinder. You do it so I don't spray sparks everywhere. And I'll show you this. It's basically the same idea. You just take the head off of it. And then doing on that, you basically just want to take it until you can see the surround of what the stud is. Obviously you don't want to grind anymore. I'm not using this, so I didn't care, but you want to be careful. See how this one, you don't screw up the surface at all. With this one, you got to be careful you don't hit the surface too much. A little tiny bit's not going to hurt anything, but that's another way. And there again, if you can just use a hammer and a punch, but being that I have the air hammer right here, we will use the air hammer. And they will shift usually. I'll get it when I get the other side off. The frame usually does have some preload in it, so you can see this one is preloaded that way pretty hard. So anyways, it doesn't matter. Now there is another way to do it, a little bit more work, but if you can drill them out. I guess I could show drilling one out too. If you have an air hammer, you probably know the trick. Now, if you're doing it with a drill, she's out of there. You got to get, this is a fancy drill bit, kind of. You need to get it right in the middle to start with. You can do it with a smaller drill bit. This is the right size drill bit for doing this, but for the hole. You need to get in the middle of it, or as close as you can. And then the head comes off, just like drilling like a regular rivet, right? So that's, I probably should have been using a little bit of, coolant or lube. But anyways, that is 3 ways to do it. Air hammer obviously is the easiest way to do it. You can do it with the hand grinder, which is still a pretty easy way to do it, or you can drill them out. Obviously, if you're drilling them on the side, they're a little bit harder to drill because you can't, lay on top of it like I was just laying on top of it. But it's an easy way to take them out. So you either need a drill, hand grinder, or a good air chisel. You could actually do it with a hand chisel and a hammer, but man, you're gonna have to do some hammering to do that. So anyways, just thought I'd do that a little bit. That was showing the couple different ways, doing it with the hand grinder, doing it with air chisel, or air hammer I should say, air hammer, or drilling them out. So Pretty simple, not really hard either way. Obviously doing it with an air hammer, but it is like a $500 air hammer. And I realize most guys are not going to have that. But if you do, or if you wanted to buy one, if you had to do like a whole bunch of them or something, honestly, it would be well worth, in my opinion, well worth the money spent so that you can do it. And then the air hammer comes in handy for so much stuff. I use it all the time. But they are expensive. Anyways, check out my other videos, all that stuff. Like, subscribe, hit me down in the comments, and remember, it's not rocket science.